Hello, welcome to our series of weekly devotionals. This week we're taking a look at a passage in Paul's letter to the Ephesians. I mentioned in a sermon a few weeks ago a story about a church group that had gone to see the movie The Passion of the Christ many years ago when it came out. And the pastor of the church noticed a man weeping as they were leaving the theater. And he asked him if he was okay and asked him what was wrong. And the man replied, "Christ suffered so I don't have to." And he got in his Lexus SUV and drove home. And I noticed that a lot of contemporary Christian rock or contemporary Christian pop songs have as their theme all that Christ has done for us. And of course, as Reformed Protestant Christians, we believe that we are saved by the grace of God, by our faith in God. But of course, I also grew up Catholic, and I became aware of a debate between Protestants and Catholics about something called works righteousness. So Protestants believe we are saved by grace, and Catholics lean more along the lines of we are saved by the works that we do. And for someone like myself, who is a capable human being, I always thought that that was sort of a moot point and sort of a pointless argument, because if you're given the gift of grace, I think you would want to do something in response. You would, of course, realizing your faith in God, you would be moved to want to do some good in the world. And so I think those two things go together. And I mention this debate because scholars suggest that a lot of the military-themed language that Paul uses in this passage put on the whole armor of God so that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. And elsewhere, take up the whole armor of God so that you may be able to withstand on that evil day, and having done everything, to stand firm. And elsewhere also, pray so that when I speak, a message may be given to me to make known with boldness, and pray in the Spirit at all times. To that end, keep alert and always persevere in supplication for all the saints. And what the scholars suggest is that what this military language has to do with is not really military force or conquest or victory, but that what Paul is trying to exhort his listeners to do is to do something, to respond to Christ, to be active participants in discipleship, that in response to this new reality, this new life in Christ that you have been given, it calls for a response. And so for all of us, of course, those of us in our world who are not capable, who are differently abled, who have special needs, of course, we believe they are saved by grace. But for those who are capable, we're called to respond, to do something in response to the gift of grace we have been given in Christ Jesus. To keep up with the sort of military theme, I remember a great scene in the movie Saving Private Ryan. And that movie was about the character of Matt Damon, Private Ryan, who was saved by a regiment, a group of soldiers during World War II, and many of whom had sacrificed their lives to save him. And one of those, the character of John Miller, played by Tom Hanks, is laying there dying. And he says to Matt Damon as he dies, "Earn it." In other words, live a life worthy of the sacrifice these soldiers have made to save you. And while I don't believe we earn our salvation, I think that in response to the gift of grace, we in turn are called, as Paul tells us elsewhere in his letters, to live a life worthy of the calling to which we have been called in Christ Jesus. Amen.